Hello there. One of the things that we don't talk about very often as a country, particularly the white parts of our country, is colonization. You see, it's a kind of awkward thing that any white person is going to kind of want to avoid because it makes them feel bad. Or it should do. You do get those assholes who are like, well, fuck it, I didn't do anything wrong. But we're all beneficiaries of colonization if you have the same skin tone I do and you live in a place like Aotearoa. What we're seeing around the world at the moment is the extreme evolution of what happens when colonization goes too far and you don't have rules and guides, and there's so much animosity and angst and reason to keep hating each other. We're very, very fortunate in Aotearoa that that is not really such a big problem these days. We have much better understanding between the parties within Te Tiriti than we did 50 years ago, 100 years ago. That's definitely a blessing, but we're certainly not all experts on such things. And the idea of having a referendum to negotiate what the principles are and define them, letting the population who also thinks for some reason that Joey the serial killer from Shortland Street is a real person decide how our country is going to be run in the future, that's just stupid. We let experts do those things. But one of the things that I think a lot of New Zealanders don't realize when it comes to colonization is the long lasting impacts that it can have on a group of people that they might not even realize. Like here in the Philippines, for example, the history of colonization is extreme. In the late 1500s and early 1600s, the Spanish showed up and tried to wipe out 700 different groups of people. 700. Tried to amalgamate them, homogenize them, turn them into proto-Spaniards, get rid of the language that they spoke or the language that they wrote with, their customs, their traditions, their identity. It's taken hundreds of years to get to a point now where they're just starting to claw some of that back and find some of that lost knowledge and start to celebrate their heritage. And there's been like 3 different occupations from 3 different groups in that time. We are so lucky in Aotearoa that we have a document that guides us in this journey. And it's never going to be perfect, and no one's ever going to know it all. And the idea of putting it to a referendum is literally the dumbest fucking shit out there. But it is our founding document that makes things surprisingly smooth compared to what you see happen in the rest of the world when they deal with colonization that they've had to go through. We've had to deal with that. Everyone else seems to have to deal with that. The only way to get through it is to sit down and work on it together. But yeah, I gotta say, some of the stuff I've seen here around how they focus on colonization, it's brutal.